coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming.
What's up, Hebrew Nation? Well, let me share something with you, because I see us as family. So we are Royals had a little board meeting, and in this board meeting, my son, Prince Fabian, let me just tell you what happened. We were sitting there. He said, "Mom, we're going to have a board meeting." I said, "Okay, I'm going to be there." So I sit down and, I'm looking around, and Fabe starts it out. And he says, "Mama, your videos are too long." And I was appalled. I know some of you are sitting there like, "What?" Because, if you like to study, I've sat through 4-hour documentaries. I like to study, so I don't get tricked, so I don't get deceived. Knowledge is power, just like Yahuwah said. So I appreciate the 30-minute videos, 20-minute videos, 15-minute videos. I appreciate those, and I take them in, especially if they're from our Torah. But I like the long ones. So for those of you that are sitting there being like, "Well, I don't think that's true. I think your videos are right on point and on time, and I love them," I know it's appalling. So let me get back to this meeting. So I said, I was a little scratched by it. So I said, "Well, since we're in a board meeting, I think that you should address me as Princess Zakiah." And he looked at me, and I looked around the room, and he proceeded to say, "Mama, your videos are too long." That's ridiculous, isn't it? I'm still stunned. My nose is stopped up. I'm so stunned. So immediately I said, "All right, I'm going to take this in." And he said, "If you cut him down to like 15, 20-minute videos, well, how do I do that when Yah tells me to tell you something like, I'm going to talk to you tonight about what that moon is for, And I'm going to tell you how to get in on this Passover. Again, free will is yours. But how do I do that when I'm going to say what I hear Father say, and I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to tell you because I don't want to leave anything out. Every time I come on here, before I pray, I say, "Father, just, say what you want to say. This is your baby. I'm just going to rock it for you." So I'm looking into his brown eyes, and I see I'm not going to budge him. So I guess I'm going on a time limit, and I'm being watched. So I'm going to try to do it as fast as I can, but I'm not going to make it fast if y'all's telling me to say something, I am just appalled at that. Boy. So I'm stunned. So let's move on. But I wanted to share that with you. So I'm going to tell you where to find this stuff at, because studying is good for you. It gives you time to spend alone with Father. And the more that you do it, you're going to hear him speaking to you and leading you where to go. Giving you leading you like on a breadcrumb trail. And something else, when we came into the laws, we didn't get the feast days right off. You have to come into that covenant to get those things. You have to be with him in your heart, because he said, "I'm only going to give it to those who are searching for me last days with all their heart diligently." So believe. That was a long study. It was a very, 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 very long training course. But it was so that I could give it to you. And I said, "Father, we're not supposed to tell the secrets." And he said, "I'm going to lead it out there. You just make it." And he actually spoke through Fabian and Prince Fabian, and said that whoever it's for, they're going to get it. Anyone that it's not for, they're not going to listen to a word that you say. They'll just go to another video. And I believe that's true. That's why you don't see me with very many likes or anything like that, because I think part of it is because I'm a woman. But like I've said over and over again, I use as his daughters. We are warriors. He said that, and we divide the spoils. And we are used just like Deborah. So that's a problem with some of them because they're still stuck over there in that. But I'm sure that you can see that Father uses me. So they don't unfriend me or anything like that. But they will not give y'all, a like or anything like that. It doesn't bother me. You're doing it to him. So I'm always going to bring it to you what he says. And when he's done, I'm done. That's just how it is. So I'm going to try to keep these down, but it is what it is. So we're going to talk about the moon tonight and how the cycles of it, the lunar moon phases actually mark, like Yahuwah said, our days, our months, and our years, and they pinpoint those seasons so that we're right on top with the feasts. Bam, this is the way it is, and you just know it's from him. You know it is because it's backed up with our word, and it's so simple. It's just so simple. So let's talk about the moon. The moon in ancient Hebrew and in our Torah and in our Sefer, it means month. Okay? When Yah created it, a lot of people will tell you that the dark moon is the new moon. Wrong. Because that sets for 3 nights. And if you miss that one night, you are off with the calendar. If you miss it by 1 day, you are off. I know that. God took me to it all. And to be honest, when he was taking me through this and I went out there, I didn't see the moon. And I started crying. I didn't know it went into to a dark phase for like 3 nights. Know that. So when he was teaching me about the phases and the way he created it that marks 30 days for our calendar, I went outside and I couldn't find it. I was watching this thing. I was learning it. And I couldn't find the moon. And my stomach sunk because at that time I was learning about the wickedness in this world and oh my goodness, I thought they had stole the moon. And I started crying. So I came in and I got my son and my daughter-in-law. And I said, come look, see if you see the moon. We're supposed to be counting these days off so we can be on these feast days. It's not good enough to just have it. We need to be on that date. It was just a drive-in moon. And, we have to do this right. We can't follow anybody but what y'all told us on that moon. So I need you to come outside and see if you can see the moon. Nobody could see it. So we came back in the house, and Miranda said, well, how are we supposed to know when the months and the feasts are? How are we supposed to, by the numbers that he gave us? I said, I don't know. And I got so frustrated. And see, I'm the type of person, if I'm outside of his will or I'm missing something, I hit panic mode. Because I don't want him to be disappointed with me or my tribe. So I felt tears flush into my eyes, and I said, you guys, I'm going to go pray. I'll be back. So I was in my room, and I was crying to him, and I was talking to him. And I was walking my room, and I said, I don't understand this. How am I supposed to learn this if they took it? I don't understand. I was learning about the bullshit, the Illuminati and all this other crap. I was in the midst of waking up, believe that. I was still in shock from that. But all of a sudden I heard Yahuwah say, calm down, stop crying. Sit in the chair and calm down. So I got up there and I sat down and I just took a few breaths and I got real calm. And he said, I want you to go in there and look at the phases of the moon. So I pulled it up on the computer and I looked at the phases of the moon and I saw there were 3 dark nights of the moon. And I was like, okay. So I immediately felt happy and I was calm, and then I started learning those phases. Then I started applying it to what he said. Let me give you the books where you can find this, because I'm going to try to really keep this video down to a minute that'll make him happy. And look at these. The evidence I bring you is going to be in the book of Numbers. It's going to be in first the book of Genesis, Exodus, Enoch, Deuteronomy. All those books talk about the moon and how they are. Even Yah said you will use this as as to how to point your months and your days and the feast days by the moon. Now you say, well, how do you know that it's not the dark phase or the half moon, which they call the young moon? How do you know that? I'm going to give you this evidence, and this should seal it for you. When Yah created the moon, it was a lesser light from the sun to light the day, yet and still, Yah said it was a great light to light the night. Not even the stars are as bright as that moon when it is full. When did he create it? Was it halfway? Well, no, it was a bright light. It was full. It was at its glory when he created that. So that tells you right there, and he said you will use this in the books that I mentioned, and if you study and ask him to show you, he'll show you even more, because we have more now. But he said you are to use this to mark your days, your months, your days, and that will keep you on the feast and the Sabbaths. Now, the full moon Sabbath, when it is, and there's only 30 days in our month. You see, there's no leap year. This is what he told me. He said to get this, you have to come completely away from the Gregorian Rome calendar. You have to come away from it and forget everything you know about it. His months do not have names, and those that do have names are names of false gods. He doesn't have names for the days of the week. None of that. He uses numbers, and that is what he tells you. By this day, you'll know that it is the first month and the first day of that month. Now, something that you need to know is that you will see the full moon at night. Well, our Hebrew new day on Yah's calendar, it starts at sundown. That is when it is morning for us, and it is the new day. It is not at midnight. It is at sundown until sundown. So, like in Nehemiah, when they were getting ready for the Shabbat, on the eve or the night of the full moon on this Shabbat, when the sun comes up in the morning, that is the beginning of the Sabbath day. Until it sets and goes down, that's the end of it, because it is day, it's Sabbath day, and you're to rest. And Nehemiah said that. In Nehemiah, it says that on the Sabbath eve, it said that Yehuda was selling and buying and doing all this on the Sabbath eve. So he shut the gates to keep buyers and sellers from coming in, and said that on this night we are to prepare for the Sabbath that is at sunrise. You can find that in the book of Nehemiah. It's a fascinating book. I loved it. So let's get to this, because it's very important. There's a feast day coming up. So the full moon was made when he created everything, this crib for us. And it is to mark our months. Okay? Now today, I posted, Father told me to go out and look at my lilac tree that I had planted when we first moved in here. And so I went in there and I out there and I looked at it, and he said, what do you see? And I said, I see fruit. I see buds. And yet there's snow everywhere. A tree is not going to cast its fruit before its time, because it'll perish, he said. So they know their season. So this is the beginning of spring. And when that full moon comes up in just a few days and lights in all of its glory, it will be the first day of spring. It will be our Hebrew New Year, and you have to come away from the the Jewish calendar too. That's what I say. Away from their stuff, because it's defilement. So it'll be our new year, it'll be our first month of the year, and it'll be the first day of our month of that new year. And it's the first day of spring. The trees tell us that. So what comes up in the spring? And let me tell you something, you have to watch that moon. I'm going to try to catch it for you. Sometimes it's cloudy and you can't see it. So you have to watch it every night when it comes to the end of the month. So because they are high Sabbath full moons, they are new moons. And they are a holy day to Yah. That's what I was trying to tell you guys. You have to excuse my voice. The heat dries out my throat and my nose in the wintertime, and it just drives me nuts. So if I crack a little bit, just look over it. Help me get out. Help me. I was going to say. Anyway, when those trees cast forth their fruit, then we know that's spring. Because if they did it any time before, the fruit would perish. And that tree has to produces seeds, and it leaves its legacy by spreading the seeds when the wind is blowing it and another one sprouts up somewhere. So they reproduce too, just in a different way. So they're not going to cast forth those little beautiful buds, which are little baby leaves, baby fruit, when they won't survive. So this next full moon, you have to watch it, because he has taught me so well. We just go out, we watch it, and we can tell and pinpoint the seasons and the months and those feasts and those Sabbaths. You can always tell when you go out and look at the moon. If it's not completely full, you're going to see that because the edges are not sharp, like on the right-hand side. It'll be on the left-hand side where it looks off. It'll look off at the top or off at the bottom of the left-hand side. And you just say, that's not sharp. But it's tomorrow night. He'll teach you how to do that. And then sure enough, tomorrow night, it is the Sabbath Eve, and it's bright, and it's sharp, and it's full, and there's just no mistaking it. So the next morning, when that sun comes up, that's the first day of your new month. This will be our spring. Why is this new moon so important? Because 14 days after that is Passover, our Father's feast day calendar, an appointed time. And it's important. It is a covenant. And for him to take what is guilty on you away, you have to come in to the covenant, and you have to change. But in this Passover covenant, there are so many promises that me and my family is his witness that he does for you, that it is so unbelievable. You will not believe it. And you have to begin to learn about your own feast days, our feast days of Yahuwah, and what he gave YASHER'EL. And the more you come into it, you're going to feel change everywhere in your life, because Father is going to change that. Because this is how he looks at all of us. Where are you at in covenant with him? And if you're celebrating their feast days, you are not in covenant with him. But this covenant will save your life. Do you understand? And we'll talk more about it before it gets here. But it's 14 days past this new moon, which is the full moon. The days start at 7. So, I want to make sure that I covered everything. I'm really bothered by that board meeting where he said my videos were too long. Probably stems from childhood, because when I was raising my children, I I just knew when I brought them out of that we were going somewhere. And so whenever I talked to them, I made it very clear, and sometimes they took a minute. So that's probably the fake saying. We're doing pretty good on my 20 minutes. It's pretty good. So we make sure I covered everything. So we know that this next full moon is going to be spring. And I gave you the books where you can back up what I'm saying. See, one thing about Father is he's not confusing. A father doesn't bring his child laws and rules, and they are not understandable because he knows that they're going to get broken. Do you understand? But if he makes them concrete and understandable, he knows those rules. You're not going to come up there and say, well, I didn't know that's what you meant. Yes, you did, because I wrote it out. It was very plain to understand. That's why you don't understand those books over there. When you come into our Hebrew Torah, let me tell you something. You understand everything Father's saying. It's not all mixed up and, a mess. You got one thing over there in their book saying one thing, and then the other one's contradicted, and that one's contradicting 6 more, and 6 more contradicting the 2 at the bottom. You can't find a witness for a damn thing. But when you're in the Old Testament, which is our Hebrew books, everything is understandable. So there's no way Father would not make that nice and clear. And he did. It's just been hidden from you. It was in plain sight. And you're going to find that in the book of Genesis 2, the book of Exodus, Deuteronomy, Enoch. I also believe it's in Numbers. It's in the books because Yah talks about it. They are our laws. He said you are to observe these. And this is going to mark it. And on top of that, in ancient Hebrew, the moon means month. There's no names. There's no names of the week, no nothing. And if you get into that, you're in the wrong place. It's a snare. And you will not find his dates and feast days in that. But like I said, a lot of times he'll take you the wrong way and then bring you to the right way. That's what he does with me sometimes. So, when I posted that today, and then I posted the other one about the names and the numbers on the days and stuff, I got some messages and some texts and stuff, and I said, well, I'm gonna change what I was gonna do tonight, and I'll put it on this. Since we are so close to our first feast, the Passover. So, I hope that was understandable to you, and I hope you'll observe it, because I'm telling you, it is powerful. If you go in there and read, it is plain, it is simple, and you'll be like, for those of us that, let me tell you something. I knew what Yah said, that he was not going to give this to anyone that didn't belong to him last days, because it was going to separate us from them, separate the wheat from the chaff. And I knew when he was teaching me, all I could do was cry, because I knew that we were sealed, that we were chosen. I knew that our life was going to be different, and it has been so glorious. I can't even tell you. I'm his witness. My whole family is his witness if you need more. So, we kept this down pretty good. It's at 23 minutes. You ought to be happy with that. The next one I'm going to make it long, because there's some things I want to tell you about the Passover that you need to know. It's not for sale. You cannot buy it. So everything you've been taught about that in Christianity is wrong. These are promises that you don't have to pay for. You don't have to give anything for them. They are yours because you came into this covenant with Yahuwah. And you'll be thankful when you do, when their red dragon comes in and it's already in here. Anybody that watches the times, that watches with me and fits it to what Yah told us to watch for, we already know. You know what he reminds me of? This came to me when I was doing dishes the other day. That this world, remember that movie, that cartoon movie, Hercules? Those are false gods. But do you remember when those witches were holding that hair? Said that it's holding on by a hair? That's what it is doing. This world is holding on by hair. And it is at the control of Father. And when he's got every single one of his in his own yard back in covenant with him, he's going to drop that. And that hair is going to split. And it's over. So anybody that is looking for this, I know that y'all will bring it to you. And you'll be able to be on the feast days. Even Esau is doing his feast. Because they know what's coming. So, and always, I'm going to bring you evidence. That's how we got into it. As somebody told us something, we just believed it. Just believed it. Never questioned it. But now that we've woke up, those of us that Yah has sent to wake our people up, to be their prophet, to be their light, and to bring what he's telling our people, tell the children of YASHER'EL. We know because we study and we spend time with him. And he loves that. Because that's our job. That's what he anointed us to do. So with that, we've been trained to bring witnesses. Evidence to you so that there is no doubt. It is crystal clear truth. And on top of that, when it was almost time for our full moon or our new moon, there had to be 4 witnesses from 4 different tribes of our tribes. See it and go back and bear witness as 4 witnesses. And if they didn't all bear witness and come to yes, this is the full moon, they had to go back and watch it and decide. And until they decided, they would come back and tell the Kohen that yes, this is it. That's how important it was. You had to hit the mark. So there were 4 witnesses. That's in the book of Yasher. It's also in the book of Enoch, I believe. Even David watched it. King David. So, I have mentioned everything to you, and I'm going to bring you more evidence. We'll look at it together, and we'll show you how to do it. And I know that it will only go to those that he has chosen, that are sealed. So, Father, I thank you so much, and I give you glory for everything that you do for our people today. You said, I love you so much, I'm going to take down nations for you. And we are watching you do that. We have seen you do that, even in our history. We love you so much. I thank you so much for everything that you're doing for We Are Royals. I am so incredibly in awe of you, Yahuwah. And I made you a promise that because you healed me of all the sickness that I had from the vaccines and from the slum landlords and the black mold. When I came into these laws, you healed my land. And I told you with every breath, I'm going to go get your children because I know what your heart feels like. I know what the anger that you feel. And I said that I'm going to spread your name to the 4 corners of this earth. And I have kept that promise to you, and I will not stop till you come get us. I look for you every day. All of us that you have put in this position, we look for you, we watch for you so that we can tell the children of YASHER'EL. We thank you for revealing your mysteries to us because the Christians do not have it. Thank you for the secrets. We give you praise for everything that you are, Father. And we praise the works of your hands, and we cannot wait until this is over. But until then, we will take care of your business for our kingdom to come. And that is the nation of YASHER'EL, the 12 tribes of Jacob. Father, we give you all praise, honor, and glory for everything you're doing. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. In your name, Yahuwah. Hallelujah! Yahoo! Yahoo! Yahuwah! To the house of YASHER'EL. This will bless you. And if you're coming into this, do not take it for granted, because it took me 4.5 years for him to teach it to me, to give it to you. You don't have to go through all that. You can have it and come back into covenant and celebrate what belongs to your people, but most of all, your Creator and our God, Yahuwah. I love every single one of you. And you have a wonderful, blessed night. In the name of Yahuwah, I bless you and yours and your tents. And until our next video, shalom.
I'm coming home.